Hello, and welcome to our first lesson on accompaniment. Here we're just going to kind of cover the mindset that one should generally have when accompanying someone else, either a singer or another instrumentalist. Doesn't really matter. Now, the one thing that especially new musicians kind of forget is you're not always the center of attention. Sometimes you're helping produce something more than just you and in a band and trying to support the other people around you. That is by far the most important thing. You don't need to, fill in every single space. You can leave some gap, leave rooms to breathe, let the soloist kind of take the lead and take over. And Having said that, though, you can also be interesting with what you're doing. The key here is really subtlety. The non-musicians might not be always paying attention to you and noticing it, but the more experienced musicians will notice good accompaniment. I will say from my own experience, I think or at least my own listening experience, that is, the best example I could think of someone who kind of knows how to accompany something is Alex Lifeson, the guitarist from Rush, on the album Counterparts. His rhythm guitar is absolutely fantastic, and this was the first album that Rush did right after they had a bunch of really synth-focused music, and he was kind of pushed to the background. So he spent a lot of time having to figure out, okay, if I'm not being, the center, if I'm not being the guitarist, how do I still be the guitarist? And then when they kind of allowed for more room for him as an accompanist and as a soloist, he was able to do a lot of cool things with that. If you listen to a lot of synthesizer players, they've had to kind of do this. The one that jumps to mind is Rick Wright from Pink Floyd. They're doing some really, really interesting things with their parts, but you don't necessarily notice them right away. They're supporting what's going on around them. They're letting the band be a band. They're letting the soloist be a soloist. And really just supporting everything around them and allowing it to create an atmosphere, create a mood. And that can be so, so important, because if everyone is playing a million different notes a second, which some bands do and do it very well, it can get tiresome, and sometimes you need to take a step back and go, yeah, I'm good here. And keep all the general rules in mind. And because if you base it off those and play a little bit more conservatively, that can often help. And then as you kind of go along, eventually you might figure out, oh, what if I do this little thing right here, this brief little thing right here, in order to kind of support things still, but also provide some interest. After all, you don't need to be stoic, chord, chord, chord. You can find ways to do things, but start off a little bit. Start off a little bit slower. Learn to walk before you run, and practice being the accompaniment, because it's not something we generally think about as musicians. We think, how do I play this solo? How do I play this? Think about, how do I support everyone around me and make this a band and not just about me? Anyway, that's it. We'll get into some more specifics at a later video. Hope you enjoy, and hope you come back to the channel soon. All right, bye-bye.